Hello everyone, my name is Max and today I'm here with my August book haul. So in August, I have bought quite a few books, but I do want to make one announcement, and that is that I am now on a book buying ban. There are 3 different instances that I will buy books, and that is Owl Crate and Fairy Loot. I get them every month. If one of my favorite authors, if an author comes out with a new book, I will be getting it. And then if it's a continuation of a series that I am currently reading or that I own, then I will still pick up the next books. So for example, Leigh Bardugo's coming out with 2 new books in these next 2 months. I will be picking those up even though they don't continue a series. But then Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas is coming out, and I'll be picking that up. Or also God's Grave by Jay Kristoff I will probably be picking up. I haven't read Nevernight yet, but I am going to this month, and I feel like I'm going to like it. So even though Jay Kristoff is not an auto-buy author for me, I still will be picking up that book. But without further ado, let's just get into it. The first 2 books I want to talk about I don't have with me, but the first one was The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. This is the 2nd book in the Wheel of Time series. I feel like I've talked enough about the Wheel of Time series and I always give such a crap explanation of it. So I'm just going to say it's a huge fight between good and evil, and it's a 14-book series. It's epic fantasy, and yeah. And then I also picked up American Gods for Tome Topple, and it is a book that I am buddy reading with one of my good friends. I only have 50 pages left, and I only have like 30 pages left, and it is getting crazy. It is about a war between the old gods and the new gods and a mortal who is caught in between them, and it is fantastic. Alright, now we are going to get into the actual books that I have with me. So the first book I picked up was The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I originally got this for Tome Topple. Turns out it's only 450 pages, so that didn't work. But this, I believe, is about a world where it's like our world, but magic is real, but it is outlawed. But our main character is a clairvoyant, so she goes and works for like the underground magic system, I think. I have heard really good things. I've also heard kind of like it's a little bit boring, but I hope that I enjoy it. Next book I picked up was The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. I have not read these books yet, and I really want to, and I really like these covers. This is about a girl named Lyra and in this world where people have daemons, which are like literal physical spirit animals, and she is trying to fight this bad woman who's trying to separate the humans from their daemons. I think that's kind of how it goes. I saw the movie. I know the movie is nothing like the book, but I enjoyed the movie. I actually really liked the movie, but that's what I'm gleaning from watching the movie. I am actually really excited to read this. And then I picked up These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I could have sworn that sometime last year I bought this book, but I can't find it anywhere. So I bought it again. This, I have heard, is a mix between the Titanic and Lost, but in space. So like these 2 characters are on a ship, and the ship is about to crash and everyone's about to die, or everyone has died, but then they live and they have to find their way back to their home planet or something. I've heard great things. It's a trilogy. I believe it's a companion trilogy, so they're not all about the same main characters, but I'm excited. The next book I picked up was Wildwood by Colin Malloy and illustrated by Carson Ellis. This I also got for Tome Topple, and I actually really enjoyed it. This is about a girl named Prue, and her little brother is taken by crows into this wildwood. It's an impassable wood. No one goes in there. But she has to go in, and with the help from her friend Curtis, she has to get her little brother back. I thought it was middle grade, but it is definitely not middle grade. Like, there are some real mature action, like scenes. Like, Curtis accidentally gets drunk and Prue is held at gunpoint and all this stuff that like I feel like it's just a little too mature for middle grade, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so much fun. It was great. Next book I picked up was Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know what, like, I don't know why I picked it up. Like, I planned on all next year I was going to read a Brandon Sanderson novel a month, but I keep picking them up earlier, and I will probably be reading this year. But I believe this is about a world where the superheroes are actually the bad guys, and I don't quite know why, but I just know that they are. And I love Brandon Sanderson. I've read The Arithmetist and The Final Empire, and I'm really excited to pick this one up. And the next book I picked up was The Crane Wife by Patrick Ness. This is the only Patrick Ness novel that is out right now, unless Release has come out, that I have not read. And this is about a man named George, and he finds a white crane that was, I'm just reading from the back, and who was shot with an arrow, but then he saves it and it flies away, but then a woman comes and they fall in love. I think it's a like heavy magical realism. I think that's kind of what it is. I love the cover though. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I haven't really heard much about this book. I believe it's more of as an adult novel, while most people on BookTube have read his young adult novels, like the Chaos Walking trilogy and A Monster Calls, and there's one more. The Rest of Us Just Live Here. But I have read all of those. I only own A Monster Calls by him, and now this one. I want to own all of his because he's definitely an auto-read author for me. I've read like all of his stuff, but I really enjoy it and I'm excited to pick this one up. Then I went to Sam's Club. I feel like in the past quite a few book hauls I've talked about Sam's Club. It just has really inexpensive books and I really enjoy it. And here's one instance, Debutantes and Daggers by Rachel Hawkins. This is a bind up of Rebel Belle and Miss Mayhem. It's usually $13.99, but I got it for $8.98. So I got 2 books for the price of a cheap 1 book, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for the first one. I have heard fantastic things about the first one. I have heard meh things about the second one, and I have heard people really don't like the third one. So I hope to just read the 2 of these and just kind of call it good. But this is about a girl named Harper, who it's like Southern Belle, but it turns out it's kind of like Shadowhunters, where it turns out she can kill demons. She's trained to do that. I am excited. I think she's a real girly girl, and I haven't read a whole lot of young adult novels with like a real heavy girly girl as the main character, and I feel like that's a really interesting character because they also have to become like badass and stuff, but they still want to look pretty and, you know, wear dresses and stuff. Like, I just feel like this cover is perfect. Like, she's wearing this bright pink dress, but she's got a dagger as well, so I'm excited. And then this book, I was specifically waiting for it to come out in paperback because I wanted to read it, but the hardcover was like $30, and I am not for that. And then I go to Sam's Club, and there it is in paperback, and that's The Chemist by Stephenie Meyer. I don't know why, but I really want to read this. Like, Twilight was my childhood. Twilight was what got me into young adult. It got me really into reading. I read it when I was in 5th grade, and I mean, it was a little mature, I think, for a 10-year-old. Actually, I think I was maybe 9 when I read it, but I loved those books so much. First book, Breaking Dawn, was the first book I cried at, New Moon. New Moon, I cried in New Moon at the beginning, and which is kind of funny, but I enjoyed them so much. It was the first series that I marathoned. It was the first series that, like, I read one, well, excluding the Magic Treehouse series, because I read one Magic Treehouse book like a day. But for like real novels, I read each one like 100 pages a day, and for me that was like huge when I was 9. And it was just fantastic. And so I like really want to read this and just get like nostalgia. It's about a girl who used to work for the US government, and I think now she's being hunted by, oh no, for her last case, she has to do stuff. I don't really know, honestly. I just know it's a girl who worked for the US government. That's about it. I like this cover. I like the smoke. Like, the hardcover is a needle, and I don't know. I feel like that's like, or a needle or like a syringe or something. I'm not quite sure, but I'm just like, I don't really like that cover, so I'm excited for this. I plan on reading this in September. And then the last book I got from Sam's Club was Crazy House by James Patterson. I also plan on reading this in September, and it's because like I'm reading like David Baldacci and James Patterson and Stephenie Meyer. It's like all these authors that like, well, David Baldacci, I've never read one of his books before, but my dad really likes him, and then he also really likes James Patterson, but I loved the Maximum Ride series. And I just feel like I'm going back to my childhood now because James Patterson has written a new book, Stephenie Meyer wrote a new book, and I'm reading them, and it's kind of insane. This is about a two sisters. One is insane and one is sane. And they're twins, identical twins. And then one is in an insane asylum and one is free, but it turns out they took the wrong sister to the insane asylum. So the sane one is in the asylum and the insane one is out and about. And that's all I know. I'm really excited. I really like this cover. I like the blues and purples and pinks, and I'm excited. And I went to Barnes & Noble for, you know, fun. And the first book that I picked up was The King's Rising by C.S. Packet. If you've seen my August TBR, I plan on reading this during my impromptu booktubeathon. And this is the third book in the Captive Prince trilogy. The Captive Prince trilogy is set in kind of ancient Greece, or like, it's based off of ancient Greece, and it's about this prince named Damianos, whose illegitimate older brother steals the throne from him after his father dies and sells him into slavery to their warring country, and specifically to the crown prince Laurent. Damianos has to hide his identity by being a slave named Damon until he is able to get more power and take back his throne. I have not read the second one. I own the second one. I plan on reading it this month, and I also plan on reading this one. I read The Captive Prince in a day when I was like so deep in my reading slump last year that I feel like I'm just going to be able to fly through these. And the second one is actually the longest at 404 pages. This one is like 340. So I should be able to read this really fast. Next book I picked up was Black Moon by Romina Russell. This is the third book in the Zodiac series. I waited till it was in paperback, and it recently came out in paperback. I plan on also reading this during my impromptu booktubeathon. This series is about a world, or like a universe, where all of the astrological signs are their own planets. And our main character is Ro, who becomes the Queen of Cancer after a tragedy happens and the old queen is killed, and she has to protect the universe from the 13th sign, which was a sign way back when, but was destroyed because they were super power hungry, and now it's coming back. It's kind of, I suck at the synopsis for this series because I feel like if I give too much away, it's going to be a spoiler. But I'm just not sure, and I just don't know how to describe it. But I love this series. Like, this series has very mixed reviews, but I really enjoy it. It's one of the only series that has a love triangle that I don't really mind. I mean, yeah, I always hate love triangles, but this one isn't that bad. And I think it's because I'm okay with her ending up with either one. I like both of the love interests, and I think that's why I'm like okay with the love triangle, because I'm like, either one I'm fine. So I'm really excited to read this. And then I decided to pick up Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I recently did my July book haul, and this I had Shadow and Bone, and I just love these covers so much. I had to keep myself from buying Ruin and Rising. It was there, but I was like, you know, Max, how about we do this like a once a month thing, or maybe I'll get Ruin and Rising like next year, because I do plan on rereading this trilogy, but next year, not this year. And I will do it in these new and gorgeous covers. I'm so excited. I just love them so much. I'm so happy. And then I decided I had to pick up Because You Love to Hate Me by 13 authors and 13 booktubers. These are 13 stories about different villains. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard people like a lot, like more stories than others. I don't know. I feel like that's always the way with anthologies, is you like some more than others. Some you really enjoy, some you really don't like. I really do have mixed reviews on anthologies in general, but I hope to like this one because it's just got some fantastic authors like Renee Ahdieh, Soman Chainani, Susan Dennard, Marissa Meyer, Victoria Schwab, etc., and it's fantastic. I'm super excited. And then the next book I'm going to show you I'm actually currently reading. I don't have the dust jacket with me, and it is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. This is about our world, but magic was a thing, and now it is almost extinct. And now one of the last magicians, named Esta, she can go through, like, travel through time. And she is sent back in time to when the magician took the magic book and did something with it and practically made magic extinct. She has to go find it, stop him, and save the book. And it's okay. It's taken me a long time to read. I'm finding it a little boring. I'm finding not a whole lot is happening. I am 234 pages into it, and like, it's only just starting to kind of grab my interest, which is really unfortunate. This like just sounded like a fantastic book. The cover is fantastic. I hope I like it more. I actually stopped reading this for right now because I'm still in the middle of Tome Topple, and the last prompt I have to hit is read a graphic novel. And I was like, I don't really read graphic novels. I'll do it if I like finish all the other books. And technically when I first did my TBR, I did finish all the books. So I'm reading From Hell, which is about Jack the Ripper, and I'm not very far into it. It's a little hard to read because the language is like from that time, but I really am so intrigued by Jack the Ripper, so I'm really excited to read that. But then after that, I probably will then go into my booktubeathon that I'm doing, and then after that, I will pick this one back up. I'll probably read this on the plane going back to Ithaca. I'm leaving in about a week and a half, which is insane to think about. And so I'll probably take this one with me on the plane and read it. I picked up a different book called Flamecaster by Cinda Williams-Chima, but this was a spin-off of the Seven Realms series, and stuff was happening in that book that was like affecting the characters from the Seven Realms series, and I just couldn't read it. I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't do it. It was so awful. It was so sad. I returned it and decided to pick up Under Wildwood, which is the sequel to Wildwood. This, I'm not gonna say what this is about because that's like total spoilers, but it's the second book in the Wildwood. I think it's a trilogy. There's 3 books out, and I think those 3 books have been out for quite some time, so I think it's just 3, it's a trilogy. But I am really excited to read this. I loved the first one, so I'm really excited to pick this one up as well. Alright everyone, that is it for my August book haul. I hope you enjoyed. You probably won't be seeing many book hauls in the future because I am on that book buying ban. If there is a month where a lot of my auto-buy authors come out with books, sequels come out, I'll compile Owl Crate and Fairy Loots. Maybe in a couple months I will be able to do a book haul, a couple months worth. Hopefully I stick to this. I really hope I do, because I did not make as much money as I was hoping to this month because I had to do a lot of car work, and the restaurant that I work at is only open nights now. So I need to take it down a notch. Even though I do have a job coming into this year, I still just want to compile my money more. Let's hope it works. I will see you next time. Bye.